were evaluated and released from the care center. That's the 2, the 11, the 6, and the 40. All right, we'll get started here with our post-race press conference for the Coke 0400, powered by Coca-Cola. We're joined by our second place finisher, Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Patriotic Chevrolet. Jimmie, you led 35 laps today, but just didn't have enough for the 88 at the end there. Take us through that last restart, please.
Yeah, restart-wise, I was excited to have a front row opportunity and just hopeful that the scenario behind me would play out right. And man, I don't know what went on. We just couldn't get. I had 2 or 3 shots at it, and we just couldn't get our lane to go. And the last restart, I think the 6 car was more focused on setting up a run down the back straightaway and was backing up to the car behind him. And I got a great start with Junior and was door to door with him, but I didn't have any help getting through 1 and 2, and lost control of my lane. And Junior was so strong all night, and you give him control of the race, he's not going to give that up. So great performance. Happened to be 1-2, but clearly thinking about the accident that happened and people in the stands, and it sounds like things are well out there, which is shocking. I'm shocked that Austin Dillon's even alive, what he went through. So just a frightening moment. I saw it in the mirror, and man, I expected the worst when I came back around.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. If you just raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you, and then please state your name and affiliation. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. A couple questions. Just do you talk about the dynamics of racing so late? Does your body clock, everything get out of whack? And getting back to what you said about Austin, I mean, is that as bad an accident as you've seen?
Yeah, I'd say maybe the only one that really would rival that would be, well, I guess we've had 2. We've had Kyle Larson here in a Nationwide Series car then, and then was it Jeff Bodine in the truck down the front stretch? It looked a lot like this one. But yeah, the fence and the cables, it's like a great cheese grater to a race car, and just tears it apart. And unfortunately, all the energy with the turn on the front stretch, as the car comes apart, the energy is carrying the debris out into the grandstands, and that's a scary thing. And I'm happy to hear that it seems to only be a few minor injuries in the stands right now. Is what I heard on the way in.
And what about, can you talk about the dynamics of racing so late? Does your body clock kind of get a little out of whack?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, when you're under caution, you can feel the weight of the day kind of on your eyes, and then just sitting around waiting for it. There was a whole feeling, I think, throughout the industry that about 8:30 the deal was over. So mentally, I started shutting down and thinking, okay, I'm staying the night. What am I doing? Trying to coordinate family things, and then all of a sudden it's dry and the dryers are on the track. So being in the sport as long as I have, you learn how to kind of turn it off and turn it on. I did overeat, so I haven't figured that part out. It's hard to sit out there for that many hours and not eat too much, but everything else went pretty well.
And Kenny down here. I'll do Kenny, and then we'll go to Nate.
Kenny Bruce, NASCAR.com. Is there anything that can be done to lessen the likelihood that something like that happens?
You know, I watched a few replays before I did my TV interview, and I assumed that the 3 was backwards, and it lifted off from that. But it was actually, the 11 was backwards, and the 3 bumped him and got some air under the nose of the car, and then it just peeled the car up off the ground. I don't know how you help the cars in that scenario. Slow us down, certainly. You know, you slow the car down, we get further below the liftoff point, and that could have been, that could be something to look at. But what I thought happened didn't happen. I was shocked to see the car get off the ground as it did from that type of contact.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Jimmie, that's 2 times in 2 years in a NASCAR race here that the catch wrench has been ripped apart and exposed the fans to potential danger. Is that maybe, knowing that it sounds like there's nothing you can really do in this type of racing to keep the cars on the ground, is that something that should be looked at? Do they need to start looking at finding ways to protect the grandstands better?
Yeah, I know they have, and it's been a topic of discussion for a lot of years through NASCAR and also IndyCar. If I remember back to post Dan Weldon's tragedy, there was discussion about the Texas track and the way the fence laid against the posts, and a lot of conversation. So it's been top of mind, and I know a lot of people have spent time looking at it. I just don't know if there's a good solution or one that's going to be better than what we have. I don't know. I'm definitely open-minded to it and hope that we can engineer something, but I don't know how you keep a 3,500-pound car at 200 miles an hour staying in the racetrack like that. And the fence held up. It did function well, but the debris field going off into the stands is something I don't know how you control. Keep the cars on the ground, slow us down would be the only way to do that, I would have to say. And even then, there's no guarantees. It would help, but no guarantees.
David Scott from the Charlotte Observer. Jimmy, you said your eyes are getting heavy. Is this too late to be racing? Is it safe to be racing this late after such a long day?
Oh yeah, it's plenty safe. We're good on that front. I like the challenge. I've been here for the Rolex 24 and love the graveyard shift and would always ask for it. And then when in fact when the teams on want to see the sun come up, there's just something cool about being in a race car watching the sun come up. So from my standpoint, it was all good. I'm not sure there's many people watching, but
Any final questions for Jimmie? All right, Jimmie, thanks for joining us
Awesome,
this
thank you.
morning.
this morning. And what's really funny is to see, please travel safely.